Good day, everyone. Hello, how are you? I am attorney Edgar Pasqua, your companion to your study of the law. For this series of lectures, we will explore this branch of political law, which is election law. In our study of election law, we recognize the value of the electoral process, the value of each vote, the value of each player in elections, and most especially the value and contribution of all the voters. We know for a fact that democracy thrives on the empowerment of the people, and the people are empowered, among other things, through their voices as they are heard when they are cast their votes. When the people cast their votes, they take part in policy making. They take part in directing the affairs and the objectives of the nation. That's why John Lewis, a well-known congressman in the US, says that the vote is the most powerful nonviolent tool we have for changing the world. Sure, we can change policy, we can change the status quo by a revolution or by an uprising. However, that while that is a manifestation of the power belonging to the people, most of the time it causes much destruction to everyone, no, in the whole world, not only from the nation that is experiencing the revolt or civil war. When you speak of voting, people come together to agree on the selection of leaders by hearing out the choice of the majority. Not only of leaders, but also they select if they favor or not certain governmental policies. So when you speak of elections, especially in the Philippines, we have come from a long history of colonialization where our control of our national affairs belong to a foreign power. However, with the last three constitutions, the 35 Constitution, the 73 Constitution, and the 87 Constitution, we have seen how the people have grown as a democratic nation, the Filipino people. No? So again, as we try to study the law, we appreciate this very fact that with the power to vote, the power of the exercise of our suffrage, we can be giving that reality to that truism that sovereignty resides in the people and all governmental authority comes from them. So, what is election law? Election law in the Philippines is a specialized branch of political law that regulates the electoral process and defines the rights and obligations of voters, candidates, political parties, election authorities, with the ultimate aim of ensuring a genuine expression of the people's sovereign will. The Constitution recognizes that the Philippines is a democratic and a republican state. Sovereignty resides on the people and all governmental authority emanates from them. It is the people whose popular will mandates the course or direction of the nation by themselves through initiative and referendum or through their representatives. But when the people attempt or does their part in shaping policies through the exercise of suffrage, they uh, are part of that intricate web of the electoral process, no? Which involves not only the voters, their rights and obligations, but also political candidates, political parties, the party list system, and of course, the duties and obligations of election authorities, primarily the COMELEC, and at some great um, part, the courts for certain instances, for instance, of inclusion and exclusion of voters, among others, including the electoral tribunals. So, the election laws in the Philippines are governed primarily by the 1987 Constitution. It is also governed together with the Omnibus Election Code and relevant election laws as the Fair Election Acts and the acts that or the laws that allow for automated elections and overseas voting, for instance. No? We have common like issuances, and of course, we have international law that would support our right to suffrage. First up is the Philippine Constitution. according to the case of Palatino, is Kabataan Representative versus Comelec, 2009 case. The right to vote and the significance of suffrage is well recognized in the Constitution that it is even given a specific article in the fundamental law. According to the case, the right of suffrage lies in the heart of our constitutional democracy, the right of every Filipino to choose the leaders who will lead the country and participate to the fullest extent possible in every national and local election is so zealously guarded by the fundamental law that it devoted an entire article solely therefore. We are referring to Article 5 on suffrage that defines or describes it as participative of people who are qualified to vote, um, highlighting the fact that it is inclusive because no literacy, property, or substantive requirement shall be imposed on the exercise of suffrage. Of course, the right is exercised by those who specifically are qualified to vote. But generally, those who are qualified to vote are qualified because of certain rational basis and legal basis, no rational and legal basis. On the matter of the inclusivity of elections, the same article in Section 2 provides that Congress shall provide a system of securing the secrecy and sanctity of the ballot as well as the system of absentee voting by qualified Filipinos abroad. So highlighting the participation of Filipinos around the world and the reliance of Congress in enacting relevant laws to secure the value and secrecy and the integrity of the ballot. The Congress shall also design a procedure for disabled and illiterates to vote without assistance of other persons. That time will come eventually, no? But for now, most of many of the PWDs, those who are illiterates and disabled, may be assisted, no, in accordance with law. Until then, they shall be allowed to vote, of course, under existing laws and such rules as the Commission on Election may promulgate to protect the secrecy of the ballot. So the inclusivity of the ballot here is emphasized because election is for everyone, no? For those who are qualified to vote. We also have the Omnibus Election Code and relevant statutes. It's the statute, the Omnibus Election Code is the primary statute that provides the legal framework for the nation's democratic exercises. It's not a mere list of rules. It is a robust regulatory system designed to safeguard the sanctity of the ballot against fraud and manipulation. Well, um, this is very ironic because while what was the intention of the law during the entire regime of the law, the Batas Pambansa 881, we have also heard of and even have read of cases of ballot or election fraud. No? So eventually we have the law. It's just a matter of enforcement and, of course, the participation of the people to ensure that elections are honest, orderly, free, no, and an election that is of integrity, no. The people have a great part on that, but of course, the main player of elections is the government entity we call the COMELEC, no. That's why COMELEC is allowed, of course, according to the Constitution, with the power to make their own rules in the in proceeding against election matters, no. So they have the rule making power. So COMELEC, in its advancement of the right of suffrage of every Filipino citizen, has the authority to promulgate its own rules of procedure. And this is one of the powers that guarantee the autonomy of the COMELEC, as we will explore later on in succeeding lectures. Well, if you have read the cases on the matter of the interregnum, we very well know that our rights are not only exclusively recognized in the Bill of Rights, but also in international law. Our right to suffrage, in fact, is guaranteed by the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. For example, it says in Article 21, that everyone has the right to take part in the government of his country, directly or through freely chosen representatives. So this recognizes the right to run for office as well as the right to run for to elect, not only to run but also to elect the those who should run the office. No, everyone has the right to equal access to public service in this country. Maybe it could be through the ballot or through the competence of through competent examination or qualifying tests. However, here, insofar as election law is concerned, equal access is guaranteed by international law and also recognized in the Declaration of Principles and Policies. Although not self-executing, it is a basis for legislation. The will of the people shall be the basis of authority of government. This will shall be expressed in periodic and genuine elections, which shall be universal and equal suffrage, and shall be held by secret vote by the equivalent fee, free voting procedure. So the international legal arena recognizes of the value of regular elections to disallow or prevent the domination of those in power of the electoral process or of the powers of government. You also have the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights that recognizes that every citizen shall have the right and opportunity without any this distinction um, mentioned in the covenant, no? To take part in the conduct of public affairs, for example, um, through freely chosen representatives or through um, directly participating by running for office or participating in governance. Same with the Universal Declaration on Human Rights. To vote and to be elected to at genuine periodic elections, which shall be universal and equal suffrage and shall be held by secret ballot. So the same provision in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, to have access on general terms of equality to public service in this country. So looking at the provisions of the law, we have a very good notion that the law provides for the apparently provides for sufficient protection for the guarantee of um, the right to suffrage. No, so do you kindly bear with me as we upload in separate days the lecture for the entire course on election law. For now, this is Attorney Edgar Pasqua. Thank you for viewing and have a great day ahead. And good luck on your endeavors.